Welcome to Fear Travel, where we locate haunted places you must visit across the world. In this video, we will mention 5 most haunted places in California. Number 1. The Whaley House. The Whaley House is perhaps the most famous of all haunted locations in San Diego, with its stories told in magazines, movies, and television shows. Indeed, even before all the misfortune that happened to them, the Whaleys let the neighborhood paper know that they were encountering a phantom that they accepted was the phantom of James Yankee Jim Robinson, who was held tight the property for taking a boat a long time before the notorious home was constructed. The Whaley House was built upon an old creepy cemetery. The Whaleys long maintained that they heard footsteps in the house. The Whaleys claims by reporting apparitions in the home's windows from the streets. During the house's later times of reclamation, laborers and guests professed to hear peculiar, unexplained sounds, sights, and even scents. Most felt a strong presence at whatever point inside the home. This is accepted by a larger number of people to be the waiting phantom of Jim Robinson referenced before. You can hear cries, giggles, and if you listen closely, you can even hear the tiny patter of infant footsteps. A young lady has been accounted for on various events to possess the second floor of the house. This phantom is generally accepted to be that of youthful Violet Whaley, actually disheartened over her wrecked joke of a marriage. Her yearning to wait on the subsequent floor is credited to the way that she frequently locked herself away in her room after her marriage went to pieces. Cold spots are frequent throughout the mansion, believed to be Violet's doing as well. The stairwells within the residence have been mentioned by many to be the wandering area for Thomas, Anna, and other poltergeists. Thomas is often seen sporting his trademark top hat and coat while looking down from the top of the stairs. It's interesting to add that many people have detected the scent of French perfume permeating the house, a favorite of Anna's that she often wore. Serving to cement the house's hauntings are several sightings of physical objects being manipulated on their own, such as the music room's chandelier, which will swing back and forth at will when no wind is present. Lights will turn off and on without explanation, too, and there is frequently the presence of an odd mist that seems to linger. Number 2. Hollydale Insane Asylum. This mental hospital was originally a facility for TB and polio patients. There are many stories surrounding the place, including that it is haunted. One story states there was a mental patient who slashed a priest's throat in the building. Witnesses have claimed there are many unhappy spirits that linger here and that lights have been. Opening in 1888, immensely successful, it grew over time to house thousands of patients and hold official status as its own town before becoming part of Downey in the 1950s. Later renamed Rancho Los Amigos, it had a working farm, a craftsman mansion for the superintendent, its own post office, a World War II Army base, and a miniature zoo before it shut down and fell into disrepair in the 1980s. Now erroneously known as the Hollydale Mental Hospital, it's dilapidated and definitely creepy. A bunch of Marines even found a box of mummified legs in a freezer there during a training exercise in 2006. Number 3. Preston School of Industry. Preston Castle was known as the best reformed school to the outside world, but inside its walls was a hard, brutal life. New wards were forced to swim in a small indoor pool of lye. The second floor housed staff apartments and a dormitory for boys. Horrific stories of abuse and neglect became known over the years. Wards died of severe illnesses like tuberculosis. Other wards were killed by guards. A ground cemetery has 23 graves, individuals who were sent to Preston Castle to be rehabilitated. Today, guests taking the visits can detect the discouraging, upsetting environment and past ghastliness inside the Preston Palace walls. Guests might encounter cold spots, extraordinary trepidation, and hear odd commotions. Number 4. The Winchester Mystery House. We are not talking about Dean and Sam Winchester from Supernatural. This house is absolutely bizarre, with flights of stairs that go nowhere, entryways that open into walls, and miles of contorting corridor ways. Guests and laborers report the sound of strides and breathing, the hints of screws falling, and baffling appearances of obscure individuals in photos. Some report lights being turned on after specialists switch them off, and windows being opened in the wake of being locked. Number 5. The Enchanted Forest of Cobb Estates. Otherwise called the Haunted Forest, is a path that leads guests through a spooky woodland and into cave of paranormal exercises. Around evening time, it is very dull inside. Individuals have announced hearing shouts coming from the timberland or feeling as though a person or thing was following them. Odd lights has been viewed too. Some apparition trackers has seen outrageous spikes through their EMF finders. There has likewise been a few unexplained passings additionally happening inside the trails. These are just a few haunted places in California you should see. Subscribe to our channel to find out what haunted places to travel to next.